And I'll call meeting 1468 to order. At this time, I'd like to welcome the online viewers and also remind residents that our public gallery is open. In front of you is agenda for meeting 1468. Are there any additions to the agenda?
I have one item for new business. We can call it intersection of Goose Arm Road, George Aaron Drive.
Okay. Any further? Hearing none, we shall move on. The minutes for meeting 1467 are presented. Are there any errors or omissions? Noting none. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Hancock, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Business arising from the minutes. Are there any business arising from the minutes? Hearing none, we shall move on to new business. The floor is yours, Councillor Jones.
Yeah, I guess with the the intersection on Goose Arm Road, George Aaron Drive that we done some work with last year, and we were looking at changing. There was a motion put ahead to change it. I'm asking a few residents very concerned about it. I had one lady, I guess, spoke to me at one of the stores here in the town the week she had near miss, and she got great concerns about it. I had another lady with brought it up to me. So I'm just wondering if we're going ahead with what we propose in our motion, and can we have someone or Public Works to revisit it? I'm asking, not saying we're going to done. Like I said, I never made the motion, so if we can get Public Works to revisit this intersection again, just to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and we are moving on the motion that we made. Just a question, just wondering if we can get that looked at.
Fair question, and again, that's why we sit here, to echo the voices of people that bring concerns to us, the good ones and the concerns that, you know, sometimes are heavy for people, especially when you mention a near miss. Recommendation from management team would be, Mr. Manager, we could always, I know we've discussed this earlier because it's not the first time it comes to me, and again, I don't know if it's specifically who's hearing the same feedback or not, but I have no issue with revisiting or asking the chair to, you know, go back and revisit, because as it sits right now, it isn't as the motion stood, correct?
Not completely, Mayor. We haven't removed the stop sign coming out of Goose Arm Road. We did remove the yield sign this week. That should have been done last year, but I just want to reiterate that we wouldn't have recommended this change if there wasn't a request that was brought to Public Works in the first place. That was as soon as the election happened. It was one of the first orders of business of Public Works. Public Works has done their due diligence on this, and they have reviewed this against the TAC manual and everything of that nature to see that site distances are correct. In all essence, I think we've made the intersection safer, even though we haven't removed the stop sign on Goose Arm to this date. But once again, I reviewed this again today to make sure. I wouldn't have recommended it as myself, even though it's not my design or any of that nature. But I know the site distances exceed what's required for a 40-kilometer zone on both oncoming, or for right and left turning and maneuvering across. Right now, I know we've created a traffic calming. I think a lot of people are upset that they have to come to a stop sign now to take a right-hand turn onto Goose Arm, from the bridge going to George Aaron Drive. I understand there is a clipping motion because people tend to not keep to the lane on the left-hand side. They're coming out and they're pulling automatically to go into Goose Arm Road, which is limiting this clearance on the right of the, I would say, southbound on George Aaron when they're coming from George Aaron, making that left-hand turn. But that was something that's existed from day one on our existing format. I don't really understand people thinking it's a clipping action when we really didn't change the intersection. We removed the right-hand turn. Everything else still remained the exact same. We didn't remove the stop sign on Goose Arm, which was initially intended. But I do believe we made the intersection safer. We've traffic calmed. I believe I'm not too sure, I can't speak for the town in general, if any complaints have been prescribed to the town in writing of any issues that are there as a safety concern. I think with pedestrian-wise, we've increased the safety. However, a lot of people still, in their mentality, still believe that's a driving lane, the sidewalk, and are still driving down it, thinking old time. And I think after we hydroseed it and everything this season, that will define the intersection. I don't know about bringing it back to Public Works, what the intent is. We know we've recommended a safer design. A lot of our intersections in this town are wrong. I'll speak on that as an engineer. I know I use titles now and then, but I know, for instance, that the George Aaron Goose Arm Drive intersection is correctly designed by our Public Works team. And I guess my biggest thing is I need reason to bring it back to Public Works, just not because maybe people are not adopting to change. I don't foresee why it should go back, and I guess that's what I'm asking Councillor Jones.
Well, so when you leave the bridge, right now, there's gonna be no turning lane going to George Aaron Drive except for the stop sign turn to the right.
There's a right-hand turn lane and a left-hand turn lane, similar to that at the base of Chapel Hill, similar to that at Pennell's Lane and Main Street.
I know, like, actually, when I was there the one day, I was ready to turn left to go visit family, and there was a guy to the right getting ready to go towards George Aaron Drive, and I had a guy in a pickup come up with a long screw trailer that could not make that turn. He had to wait for us to move before he could make that turn.
Well, that's typical of any intersection, and what they have to do is maneuver themselves to take 2 lanes at that time if they got to make that turn. But that's typical of any local traffic design.
But it wasn't broken before. We had lots of
It was broken before because it came to council. It wasn't brought by Town of Deer Lake to fix George Aaron intersection. It was brought as concerns of people driving on the wrong side of the stop sign, people out of town maneuvering the wrong way, and I do believe there's numerous accidents that have occurred there already. I know of 3 in my head as a resident of George Aaron Drive.
I don't know. I guess I understand what you're saying. I hear you. I don't might agree with it, but I guess I'll have a look at the motion exactly again, what we put the motion forward to. And the resident says contact me. I'll tell him to contact the Town of Deer Lake. I guess we can contact the town manager. I'm sure you'll take any calls or emails on it, and go ahead with the process, I guess, and just, I don't know. To me, like I said, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a road engineer, but it don't look right to me. And, you know, I understand it's not the same as it is the rest of the parts of the world, but there's a lot of things not the same in every other parts of the world. So it doesn't mean that we just gotta go with it. Right now, to me, it wasn't broken, so why fix it? We had lots of flow there, we had lots of turning there with the left-hand turns, and lots with a yield sign going to the right.
But I could tell you that was broken because it came to council as a concern. Long before I came to council.
So, as the chair of Public Works, sitting in the last council, I never missed one meeting, and it was never brought to my attention. Here and there, that's not what we're here to debate. The reality is, I went back to look through the minutes, and I can prove it to the chair of Public Works and the rest of the committee and the rest of the council, but what was voted upon doesn't match the design, which you said earlier. So I think when spring comes, I guess that's the time to, again, go back and revisit that.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Right.
Like that, when we were going to make the changes is when we could actually paint the road as requested and to design it and publicly announce it. Obviously, we don't want to make a change right now at this time of year. I just asked Public Works, our superintendent, to remove the yield sign because I noticed that people were still driving down the sidewalk. So I don't know if they're still thinking that was a.
And Chair, to that light too is probably part of the communication piece that's missing as well. Like you're right, Mayor. We initially shared something, but it's been quite some time between what we shared on social media and with the residents and actually acting upon the motion. So perhaps there's some education about what the overall goal is when this is finished, which is in the spring. So I can certainly, that's on me to get that addressed now so that we can certainly get the debate starting but we'll certainly share what the overall goal is. And I would encourage anyone that, I mean, we have had complaints and concerns come in that I've addressed. Also, we've had some people come in with some ideas. That, I mean, there are people out there that actually give you some positive outcomes about, they do have ideas, and we encourage that. So, I mean, we'll certainly have anyone, they can drop by the office. It's probably best to get an email, because at least we can show a paper trail that we did acknowledge it. But Mayor, I think that's probably the best course of action to take now, is probably get the communication back out there, what the overall concept of this change was, and open up for public feedback. So that they can see, because right now we have an unfinished product. And we're getting into the season where you're right, Darren, that, I mean, some people, or sorry, Councillor Fitzgerald, that they are using the sidewalk, and it could be dangerous for pedestrian right now, because people that drive that route, have done it, 100 times, just tend to veer right. And we need to address that, and make sure that it's safe for not only motorists, but also for pedestrians.
And obviously, we wish there was wish we had money available to actually correct the intersection to a way I think it should be corrected. You can get what Councillor Langdon had mentioned about a roundabout and everything of that nature. He's correct. But once again, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I don't think the town right now is in the best shape to be attempting that.
For our viewers watching, what we'd originally voted on, what was my understanding, that we were going to create a throughway traffic on George Aaron and Goose Arm Road and have a T'd intersection. So it would create a better flow, not stoppage of big vehicles or down in the dangerous dip or anything of the sorts. And then it was just going to be T'd and flowed traffic. So we created the T, but we didn't create the flow of traffic. Is there anything else that I'm missing for that intersection, or what we were trying to achieve, or why we voted yes
That
on
was
that?
what we were trying to achieve, Councillor Free.
Okay, so, because everybody thinks that it was like, who came up with this idea? Like, why did you just do that? But,
No.
again, it was that nice flow of traffic, with heavy equipment on that road, blind hill, all those fun things. Am I fair to say that? That's all we're trying to achieve here. So it's that one stop sign and the paint on the road.
That was correct. That was the
Okay.
original motion.
Yeah, I think, just to cut in for a sec, it has been probably one of the more contentious ones. Seems to be coming up, seems to always, it's not going away.
No,
it just
it's
keeps coming up. And it did come to my attention from a number of people in the community. Everyone, I think, saw some social media stuff where a lot of people sort of weighed in from a comment standpoint. I went back for a look just to sort of say, like, what, because I just didn't remember that the merge aspect was coming out necessarily. So I went back, I looked at, and I think the video really to go back and watch Councillor Fitzgerald would be October 2022. Just watch the new business of that meeting, which is a public meeting. It couldn't be more telling and revealing as to what I think that may have been the last time where something was actually discussed, and I'll just say that when you listen to that, it's pretty detailed. Number of people ask questions. It probably goes on for 5 to 10 minutes. It's a very good indication as to what I think we thought was coming there and what is there, and watch that one. And that would be a good one to come back.
And just to close out the discussion on it, and feel confident your answer, the people that have questioned yourself, Councillor Jones, you feel, fair to say that you brought it back to the table, and that's again why we're all here. But in no disrespect to any committee's recommendation or moving forward to improve the community, one of the highest contentious things you'll watch around this province, this country, in North America, and they're well-staffed with multiple engineers, traffic engineers as well, is on the VOCM line. As soon as St. John's makes one intersection change, it stays a topic. So nobody take it personal. It is what it is. We're just here to try to do the best we can. Any other new business? Hearing none, we'll move on to correspondence. Bear with me, folks. I'm reading off a phone tonight, and I'm starting to think I might need to get my eyes checked. No, that's fine. I should be able to squint this one here. Here we go. Okay. Item number 1, Friends of the Force, a gala June 1st at the Greenwood, Deer Lake and Bay of Island Search of Rescue. It's an FYI. Lori, do you need someone to get back to us for attendance on that one? Or was that the one with the invite?
Which one is it?
The number one, Friends of the Force?
That's if, I didn't need to get back to anybody, just send it to us, so if anybody wanted to go, I could
Okay,
cut one for you, but they weren't waiting for our response.
okay.
Yeah, and did the email kind of specify? I think they're nearly sold out.
Yeah.
So it was more or less just an FYI that if you did want to go,
Mhm.
tickets are selling fast, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But they just wanted to circle around and make sure anyone that, may have overlooked the first time.
Okay. Thank you. Newfoundland Labrador Housing, item number 2, response from the letter regarding Lucas Place. Item number 3, mental health suicide prevention. We'll need a motion regarding the poster. Food first, item number 4, letter regarding pickup points for your information. Item number 5, SAM meetings, we held on April 19th to 21st.
Is there anybody that wanted to attend, because if not, I'm just gonna let them know,
We gotta let them know, yeah.
yeah.
That one's in Grand Falls?
Grandpa's Windsor, yeah, April 19th.
Anyone?
Sorry,
Yeah, no worries.
I'm sorry, I can't.
No, that's fine, I mean, I could,
Councillor
I
Langdon,
just wanna let them know.
any chance?
Unfortunately, won't be able to attend this one
Okay.
there, Mr. Mayor.
No worries.
I'll just let them know, it's fine, but.
Yeah, just give it in courtesy, just to let them know. Perfect. All right, item number 6 is Xavier hosting a dinner theater. Anyone want to go? That'd be nice. Is there anyone that can attend? I know I'm working that evening. Just give it some thought, but it'd be really, that's one of the first, I
Yeah.
guess.
I'm going to check my schedule on that one.
All right, and get back to Lori on that, please. M&L Symposium, right now, myself and Councillor Fitzgerald are signed up.
You're going now, right?
Yeah, no.
Again, I know everyone's busy and I can appreciate it, especially this time of year more so, but if we can get back to the clerk so we can
When do you have to know? on that?
correspond either way.
I don't know what the date is, but I'll find it tomorrow for you.
Does it say right there in the,
Is it May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd?
May 2nd to the 4th.
Second to the 4th,
I emailed
okay.
it to you,
Yeah.
and then I just wanted to bring it up again.
Okay. All right, so that concludes correspondence at this time. We shall move on to finance. Councillor Freed, please.
Finance met on March the 7th. Myself, Councillor Fitzgerald, Town Manager Jason Young, and Town Clerk Lori Humphreys, and Councillor Jones sent his regrets. Item number 1, Annex Progress Payment, claim number 27 for $583,280.22, recommended approval. Item number 2, the Tourism Guide for $1,250 for a full page. We actually get a full page for the price of a half a page. And you will see the attached samples that we've used previously. Item number 3.
Councillor Fitzgerald, Freak, sorry. I think I'm in conflict for one of them on item number 3. Did you want to do that as a separate motion? or-
Yep, I
Yeah.
can. So we'll exclude number 3.
Excellent, thank
No,
you.
you just exclude the first account on number 3.
Okay.
You can do the rest, we'll do that.
Okay. Item number 3, municipal tax overpayments. You'll see we've got 15 there. First one, account number 110265. We will exclude that one, so I make a motion for the remaining. Item number 4, we had a student traveling to St. John's in May, seeking financial assistance. We've denied it this time as it does not align with the town of Deer Lake's donation policy. Item number 5, budget amendment for capital works. I'm going to need a separate motion, right. All right, number 6. You will see from our engineering firm, it's on the next page, sorry. Invoices for October and November, recommended approval. This is budgeted for. Item number 7, SCBA cylinders, budgeted items for Deer Lake Fire Rescue, recommended approval. Item number 8, Atlantic Purification, UV equipment, recommended approval. Item number 9 is the hoist system, recommended approval, and we're going to hold payment until we get the winch for the system. Item number 10 is a wheeled excavator.
I'll need a separate motion on that one.
All right, got ya. Item number 11, for Elwood Elementary has requested their 2023-2024 grant funding. Recommended approval. Item number 12, the annex change order. Number 32, the doors located in the stairwell at both levels, which should have been glazed, and Finance does recommend this approval. So I make a motion to accept everything that doesn't need a separate motion.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question.
Yeah, so I figure about we're not voting that, so we're not voting on number 10 yet, correct?
No, we're not.
Okay. I guess number 11 there for the Elwood Elementary School, for the playground equipment. 4,800 from last year and 4,800 from this year. $9,600. I know we're only budgeted for 4,500 per school, not 48. And I guess, you know, I guess my concern about the money on this here is, how can I put it nicely? I agree they need things. I know we try to do things for the school. We passed this in the budget, but as the budget works, you can pass it, but still debate your articles and your items. So I think that I can't support this at this time for the sake of the dollar amount out of the tax dollars, and we were very stringent on our budget this year, and we had to increase. And I know you support the school items and thing, and we were, I guess, from 2023 year budget, we spent outside of the budget, we wouldn't budget for approximately $80,000 to help one of the schools in our area for green space, which I think we're going over and above for our schools right now. So I think there's any concern, right now I can't support that number 11 for those reasons. Thank you.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
fair. But just for your knowledge, there was a motion of council closer to closing out on expenditures of last year that this council voted, and excuse me if you might not have been here, but it was voted on in council on a motion last year to bring forward the year prior, and that was approved from council. So this is not just a reaction of the committee. That this full council voted to bring forward that amount that's tabled. So just for your knowledge.
Oh, no, I understand, and, you know, I'll probably there for that, like I said, it's 4,500 a year, not 4,800, so we're looking for another $600. That's what I budgeted for.
We'll get that. We'll get the clarity on that and the right amount. And they're also, we don't cut them a check. They bring a project to us, and once the school board has approved what they wanted to do, then we will help pay an invoice for what they were looking to fundraise for, put their funds towards. So it's not just cutting them a check to give those funds. So we will get the clerk to make the changes that they reflect exactly what's in the budget.
All righty. So we have a mover, a seconder.
So with, excuse me, so with that there, where I'm going against it, I got to vote against the full.
That's fair.
Okay? No, just let you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Unless, did you want me to haul it out?
No,
Listen,
no.
folks,
Okay.
this is the blessing of municipal politics. We don't have a whip. No one has to vote for a color, for a choice. You vote for what you feel good with. So, all right. I guess the question is, all those in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
sorry, just one more question.
Go ahead.
On the
I want to,
report.
sir.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah,
Brett,
sorry, I just know item on number 11, I'm fine with this now, but is it just ensuring this won't be carried over again for another year, correct? I didn't really appreciate last year that it was the school requested carried over, and, you know, I understand we're at this point now, and I'm fine with that now, but I just want to make sure this won't be carried over another year, or?
It would have to be budgeted for again next year
Right,
if
but
we decide.
hypothetically, it's budgeted, this money will either use it or lose it this year for the schools? It's,
If that's your wish to let the schools know that,
yep, sure, but I'm okay with item number 11 now, but I just want to make the point that it's, you know, to not be carried over, in my opinion, once again next year, so.
so if they were to come back and say that, you know, an accessible piece of playground equipment was $20,000, so they're still fundraising, they want to use these funds, we told them that we wouldn't cut the check, that we would pay an invoice for something. So if they have a project and know it's going to be another year before they can actually purchase it, are you, like, if you're given that circumstances or a situation or anything, like you're...
As a project as a whole, but I don't think, I know we contribute to all schools $4,500, and just to be clear that, all schools have the option to do that if they choose, not just one requesting one, but, I'll have to look at it case by case, but I prefer to certainly give it out annually, that the funds are being used right now, this year, with the students that are in the school,
Okay.
not as opposed to stacked up year after year, but.
I would rebut to say that I think that would be a budget talk, again, when it comes to our 2025 budget.
Yeah, for sure. And like right now, I'm fine with that number. I'm happy glad that we've agreed to support the schools, but just wanted to make a note of that.
Okay.
What?
No.
And yet again, sorry, Councillor Hancock, the blessing of having an open opinion, open mindset to sit here to speak freely. That was the number one, I would say, question from Councillor Hancock when I first met him in the last council, and we still are here, and you still will find it. Each person has a different place and mindset where they want to make donations, and a reminder that municipalities always make donations. So again, the direction of this council looked more so to the schools than other entities, and I think that's, again, back to Councillor Fitzgerald, would be a budgetary conversation going forward. Councillor Hancock.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was a little surprised, I guess, to some degree, that when we had launched it for year one, that people weren't sort of jumping at us for the opportunity to present their proposals and to say, hey, here's what we're planning for this year, potentially next year, here's a multi-year project, something. I was a little surprised not to get those, therefore requiring us to bring it into the next year. And I guess my only point is I agree that I'm fine with the donation. The amounts, like Councillor Freak said, need to be adjusted perhaps, but what did they submit to you guys from a proposal standpoint for this? Because that was a piece of it, right?
The school council brought a piece of playground equipment that we don't believe is going to be properly CSA approved for it to be placed in the playground. So we wanted to ensure that whatever we were donating was actually going to be an invoice of an approved piece of equipment for the school.
Yep.
And we also actually spoke of, the YMCA now being at the school. Is there a funding opportunity to also match these funds that we can go towards with them using the facility in the fenced-in area? But it was a piece of equipment that was not. Councillor Fitzgerald knew that it wouldn't pass the school board.
But once again, I don't think it's I guess I've made a clarification in committee, it's not the finance committee's, I guess,
Job to audit.
yeah, to say that it's not passable. School board might say
I
it's
gotcha.
100% passable.
Right.
And I appreciate the school council coming forth with their
100%.
Proposal to the town, and I look forward to the town helping out with this type of equipment, so all to them.
Yeah, I guess just to clarify, sorry, like, is this a contribution towards a bigger project, or are we buying the piece of equipment
This would be a piece of equipment.
that costs $9,600?
No, the cost wasn't $9,600, but the motion was meant to buy but there's other things that have to come with the purchase of this. If you can only imagine, there's labor, there's the requirement for pea stone in the playground, and all these motions. So I guess this is their council moving forward to see how the town would proceed, and the town, well, based on the passing of any of this motion, to go ahead to green light this maneuvering of this invoice, so.
So we're recommending approval for something that I guess that there's a question mark around in terms of CSA approval too. My only thing is that as a condition of this money, they had to present a proposal, and we had to approve the proposal.
And that was presented to finance, this piece of equipment.
And if we say recommend approval on this, they'll go buy that piece of equipment?
I think the biggest thing is we're going to caution the council is that you better check to make sure that you can install this piece of equipment, because you don't want to waste your funds, and nor does the town of Deer Lake want to
Waste theirs.
This is not the reason for doing this. We want to secure this funding to make
Yeah.
sure that this is a
I mean, that's,
School's soon gonna be over.
viable thing.
yeah. I mean, that's a big piece, obviously. I think that playground needs more equipment, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I know they've done some fundraising in the past for equipment there.
Yeah.
And I got no issue with the idea and the proposal. It's just, I know that was a condition that we put forth. So I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that we're honoring that piece as well and doing our due diligence to make sure it's a viable and appropriate project and we're okay with it.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the motion should state that it was for the invoice of the equipment plus labor and what was required for it. So it's not a full out, here's your $9,600, or
The proposal itself is not attached here, right?
the equipment's there,
Okay.
and the wishing of the school board, so.
Okay.
School council, not school board.
Okay.
All
All right.
right, any further questions, folks? These are all great discussions, that's what you're here for, so.
I just had one more, that's all, in
ahead.
terms of the items that are actually coming forth right now. Are any of these annex progress claims one of the ones that was, there was one in our last meeting that had a little bit more research had to go into it, that was deferred?
It was
Is that here
deducted.
now?
It was the first payment, and the door approval, remember, we thought was in it in the change order, but it actually wasn't in the invoice. It was backed out. The change order was not in the
Oh, okay,
invoice.
okay.
So it's there separately, 27 and 32. Number 1 and number 12, sorry.
Oh, okay. So is number 12 the one that was originally on?
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, it's good, thank you.
All right, hearing no further comments, questions, or concerns, call for, we have a mover, seconder, all those in favor,
Aye.
against, motion carried.
All right. Item number 3, we will ask Councillor Langdon.
To move 12 feet to the left.
You don't have to leave.
No. Okay. We make a motion for this overpayment to be returned to the resident.
All right, moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none, all those.
I'm just wondering what this is for.
It was
What
an
is this?
overpayment,
These are
And-
all overpayments on accounts.
and anything that we do overpayments on, it can't be credited back to like a debit card or a credit card. We write checks for all debits that come out of our account. So these are all checks that Lori's gonna write.
No, so we can't credit back to a credit card. Okay.
You're good? Councillor Hancock.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm wondering how it happens. How does someone have a $2,900 overpayment? What happens? How does that occur? Like, how come you pay too much?
A resident could come in and get their tax bill, and their bank could make a payment. So the 2 payments that were made, we've seen overpayments that family has gifted, for example. First one, for example, would be an overpayment that it was paid in full by 2 payees.
I'm just wondering, so like the bank would pay someone's mortgage, like taxes on their mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that
there-
would come directly to the town?
Yeah, so you can't credit back, to go back through the banking channels. Krista would have had to pump the brakes
Mhm.
long before then, but the payment was made like same day. Plus the invoice had already been sent through the financial institution to be coming through the pipe, so you couldn't stop either one of that.
So, in order for a person to make a payment, do they come in and do a transaction on their
Mhm.
credit card?
Or debit card, or set up their prepayments, or,
Do we know how this one was paid?
yeah, credit card, yep. But had had the conversation been had, i.e. with Krista, hey, I'm gonna make this payment, please don't send it to my institution,
Yeah.
that would have stopped it. Or, had the payment already come in, the resident wouldn't have already got the bill.
Yeah,
So
like
a lot of times, from a banking standpoint,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that everybody's notified of their taxes, but the bank still pays your taxes. So a lot of times you will get people, and I get it, January, my phone's full with those sorts of questions. Hey, the bank is supposed to pay my property taxes. How come I got a bill for them? So a lot of times people will go in and make that payment again, thinking that they've got to pay it. And it's,
I'm only speaking just from my own experience.
Yeah.
I can recall my bank used to pay my taxes on my mortgage, and I went out there and I intentionally stopped it so that I could make the payment on my credit card, only to get the points. That's why I do it.
right.
That's the reason I come in and pay it on my credit card, and then I can say, well, geez, I just.
So if a mortgage would be insured by CMHC, for example, so not a 20%, not like an equity plan, the residents are not allowed to administer their own property taxes.
Well, they're not allowed.
No, so they have to be administered by the bank. So either the bank's notified by the town that the taxes have been paid, perfect, it's done, they still check on it, or two, they send payment. But yeah, you can stop that once you reach a point that you're no longer CMHC insured.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that is an
If you got
opportunity.
your 20% or whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah, once you reach that point.
No,
But
I just
it's-
know that I did that on purpose, sort of thing.
Yeah.
trying
And
to-
people do it. I mean, Leslie does monthly payments on people's credit cards, so they get the points. So they don't save monthly. Yeah, you've got that opportunity.
Okay, just curious.
But these, we've talked about payments and credit cards, but it's not good for the accounting piece if they go back to look for those corrections and there's been corrections back. So if you write the check, Lori can reconcile the bank accounts and know what checks went back for what tax accounts. Kind of keeps it simple for her as well.
Makes me think a little bit about, from a town perspective. I mean, obviously, we take credit cards because some people got to pay on credit card, and at least it guarantees we get our money. You know what I mean? But I was looking at a statement of another business of the percentage that we pay for these credit card transactions. I didn't realize it was so high. You know what I mean? So I was looking at one. The total purchasing was about, I don't know, $1,600, and I think it was a $41 fee. Whoa! Do some places?
Labrador's town of Labrador City cut it out that you couldn't pay with credit. They set up a different system because the cost, I think they found annually, was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Surcharges on credit cards.
It's a
but
hard one.
The public kicked up enough stink because not every person can pay with cash,
Yeah.
correct?
That's the thing. It's a hard one because you want to guarantee you get your money too.
We also do tap at the stadium for a $4 swim
Yeah.
with Visa.
Yeah.
Well, and even to that point, I mean, we've had the debate in recreation about putting
Right.
the tap in the vending machines.
Yeah.
But it's trying to determine what
What
the
the
fee
value.
structure will be for the tap. That
Yes.
you can put it on the end consumer. You have that option when you tap on a vending machine, but until you do it, it's hard sometimes to calculate what that amount is going to be.
Yeah. I think I was just a bit surprised at the amount. I think
The
that's when I looked.
the cost of cash or the cost of credit. So you think about, I'll use the $2 at the swimming pool. So you then pay a union staffer to collect cash, and then they go out and do their cash at the end of the night, and then they bring their cash into Lori, and then we pay somebody to take it to the bank. So, I don't think you're seeing it from the cash perspective either, what cash is costing you.
Yeah.
But no doubt, there's
I
a,
know, it's a balance,
Yep.
and
something
just
we can
interesting. That's all.
we can certainly take that back to finance on the cost of what we've collected in credit what it's cost us to accept credit card. Newfoundland Power, for example, will not accept credit card. So
That's
Bella,
all.
everything comes off my credit card because I use it for
Yeah.
points. But I know Bella Line will not. Newfoundland Power will not do those monthly. Yeah.
It might be
I don't
6
know.
in one hand, half a dozen in
Right.
the other. I don't know.
It
It's
is.
interesting conversation. That's
It's
all.
a tough one when we all know the majority of society is struggling to pay bills.
Living in debt.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Tough one.
Unfortunately, when you look at the national debt, that's where it sits, is in our credit card, so. All right, are there any further questions? Hearing none. We have a mover, we have a seconder, call for question. All those in favor?
Right.
Motion carried. All right, someone call for.
Sort of went off topic a bit, but
Yeah. Okay, so item number five, yep, five. We have to do a budget amendment. We know we will not be approved for all the capital works that we have submitted. However, we have to submit within our budget as if they would all be approved. So we just need to make a motion to accept that we will budget for all of our capital works.
All right, moved by Counselor Freak, seconded by Counselor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried.
Okay, item number 10, the wheeled excavator. We have a leased excavator going back, and this one is $279,000 plus HST, and we recommend the approval for this.
All right, moved by Counselor Freak, seconded by Counselor Fitzgerald. Call for question.
Yeah, I guess one question, we're not budgeted for that amount, so I was just wondering where it's coming for the extra money. Should it probably go about $40,000 more? Just wondering if it's coming from Public Works or like, where's it coming from?
Chair of Public Works can speak to this.
Sure. Now, based on our conversations with our Director of Public Works, the town roughly spends $50,000 or more in standing offers for an excavator of this nature. This new excavator will have a reach equivalent to that of the ones we rent, and is and based on our superintendent's recommendation, along with our Director of Public Works, that this is a good deal for the town. It also comes with a full 5-year warranty, and they will float this vehicle back and forth to Corner Brook if need be for any maintenance work. So I think it's based on those two premises there. I think it's a win-win for the town.
So just a question. If we had this, a couple questions, I guess. How long would it take to get this wheeled excavator?
Manager?
You're probably looking at a 4 to 6 month lag time on a piece of equipment of this size.
Yeah.
And we budgeted for a full 12 months on payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we budgeted for the floor.
So the floor, yes, can help offset it. Okay, no, great, just wondering, John.
And then the other question is, you mentioned $50,000 in current standing offer costs. Will this completely eliminate the use of
I
standing
can't
offer
say it'll completely
excavators?
eliminate that, Councillor Hancock. I just know that our Director of Public Works believes that this will offset majority of that cost, if not all of it. to
Would
what
this
he
be
expects.
only in a case if we needed a second excavator, we'd go to the standing offer, or would this one?
No, I think this one will fulfill the needs that the boys believe that they'll have to use for any of the excavation equipment. They believe this reach of 18 feet is more than enough to perform their tasks that they're completing. So.
And I can back up that statement is that it won't totally eliminate the tracked excavator, because there are circumstances where that will be required. But in terms of having the ability to drive this vehicle on the road, and as we've seen already in the break-in weather we've had the last couple of weeks with the ditch work we've been able to do, is that we've been limited by the reach. And we have had some in-depth conversations with our operators actually at the Public Works Depot to discuss, what type of equipment is best equipped. Because when we do respond to water line breaks, sewer blockages, or if it's groundwater issues, we want to make sure we have the best equipment available. And this will be through Canoe, through procurement.
Yeah.
And it does have a substantial warranty as well as maintenance, which is important because, we want to make sure we're getting good value for taxpayers' money.
I mean, I certainly wasn't, I should clarify, I guess, I wasn't making any kind of, I wasn't thinking that we should be going towards a tracked excavator. I think my only reason for bringing up that whole point was that the 50,000 was being used to offset the 40. And so the percentage at which we would be requiring to go back to the standing offer then becomes important, because if you're actually going to offset 40, then you have to have 40 to offset. You know what I mean? That was my only reason for bringing up that
I guess it's
particular
all
piece.
based on past budgets and past invoicing.
And the jobs that they would have
Yeah.
been on and stuff like that. Yeah.
But our director was quite confident that he said this would offset that amount, so.
Okay. I think the wheeled excavator actually has been a positive thing for the town. I don't want to, I'm not making a case for track excavator or something. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
agree with Gordon, like, I'm not against it, I'm just wondering where we'll get extra money, that's all. Thanks.
All great questions, and I know it's something I have yet to hear in this chamber in the last 6.5 years, and I will tell you, you can move mountains by doing so and have a much smoother council, but thank you, manager, for saying it, because you can talk about director, manager, councillor, chair. If you don't listen to the operator or first line, people that are in the ditch doing the work, and if it comes from recommendation from them, I think we should all be secured and solidified to vote in favor. Wait, no, I'm not supposed to try to sway your vote, but here we go. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. That concludes. We'll move on to accounts payable, correct? I'm just waiting. Is there any more?
Sorry. We'll take it down a notch. So we got items number 1 through 46, excluding 6 and 44. I'm almost there. So I make a motion to pass the report 1 through 46 for the amount of. I'm almost there.
All right, moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by,
I second it.
Yep,
Council
6 and
Fitz-
44.
Fitzgerald.
sorry, moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried.
I'm going to declare a conflict for number 6.
Okay, item number 6 for B&S Trucking, make a motion to pay the invoice for $2,898.
Right, moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, item number 44, in the amount of $773.67, I make a motion to pay the invoice to Western Steelworks.
All right, moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.
I didn't give you the total of the accounts payable. It was $53,726.95.
All right, thank you. Noted. Moving on to Public Works. Councillor Fitzgerald, please.
All right, Mr. Mayor, Public Works met on March 7th, 2024. In attendance was Councillor Langdon, Town Manager Jason Young, Public Works Director Dave Thomas, Public Works Supervisor Scotty Elms, and I. Number 1, winter shift update. It's more or less an FYI. Manager decided the Public Works will be moving back to our regular shift hours effective Monday, March 11th. It's more or less back to our summer hours. This will allow Public Works to focus on road repairs and other maintenance projects. Item number 2, 23 to 25 Airport Avenue. We had reporting issues with groundwater. The committee recommends a topographical survey to be completed for the area to accompany the ongoing investigation. A review on the topography of the area will assist with any remediation efforts that may be required by the town or the homeowner in this area. Item number 3, groundwater issues, Riverside Drive. This is just for council's information. Concerns have been raised regarding groundwater issue for a property located on Riverside Drive. An investigation is ongoing to review the development regulations that were put in place for the street. Item number 4, spring cleanup. Council had a conversation that took place regarding spring cleanup in 2024. Dates have yet to be determined, but preparations are being made for the annual spring cleanup. Item number 5, capital works update. 1, the water filter. Much of the required materials for installation, including the water filters, have arrived and are awaiting installation. Management is working with the consultant on the construction of the new building to house the new filters. Main Dam Road. Final review of the design has been completed by the province. Tender for construction expected in the spring of 2024. The main lift station. Tender for the design is closed. Management is scheduling a meeting with the successful bidder of CBCL Limited. 2023 applications. There is no update on the capital works application submitted in the fall of 2023. Our applications include Riverbank Road rehabilitation and the Garden Road Phase 2 upgrades. Item number 6, everyone's favorite, potholes. Just as an FYI, temperatures are rising and potholes will continue to repair throughout our community. Public Works has been addressing as many as possible while maintaining other projects. The removal of the winter shift will assist with this effort, and no doubt. I recommend we accept the minutes of March 7th, 2024.
All right, thank you. We have a mover, moved by Councillor Fitzgerald, call for seconder, moved by Councillor Langdon, call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. I think that's the fastest Public Works Committee report ever. I know that. All right.
Listen to the easy one.
Moving on to Recreation, Councillor Langdon, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Department of Arts, Recreation and Culture met on March 8, 2024 at 11 a.m. In attendance was myself, Brett Langdon, Councillor Gordon Hancock, Town Manager Jason Young, and the Department Director Glenn Wiseman. Item number 1 is the Labyrinth, potential to develop on the walking trail. We had some roadblocks with the first location, so we're going to communicate with the Trails crew and some other stakeholders in this project and see if we can look at some options for 2024. Item number 2 is Tennis NL. Myself and the Town Manager met with the Tennis NL to look at growing the sport in the community, which also includes the ever so growing sport of pickleball. So we look forward to what we can see out of that with our new annex and utilizing that well for this great new sport. Item number 3 is the art for banners throughout our community. The committee members have been in contact with some artists, but we seem to be struggling to find a particular one willing to take on the project. So the committee, we're currently exploring more options and have multiple artists and going to reach out to some more artists and potentially put out some expression of interest as well. Item number 4 is the annex communication and consultation. The annex completed is scheduled to be I'm stuttering on that one. It's scheduled to be completed in 2024. The Recreation Committee is planning to have a town hall meeting with residents to discuss the new building and the realistic expectations of what this building can do for our community. Times and dates are not determined yet. Item number 5 is the Splash Pad RFP, which closed on Friday, March 8, 2024, and is currently being reviewed by management. That's a very exciting first step to this sought-after project in our community. And just some updates as well. I want to congratulate the Elwood boys basketball team on competing in the 3A Provincial Championship this weekend in Deer Lake. Deer Lake Minor Hockey has been doing very well, and best of luck to all of them preparing for their provincial tournaments at the end of this month. There's been some great success in our figure skating, and I attended one of the shows this week, and there's great talent on display. And best of luck to the Deer Lake Red Wings, who are currently up 2-0 in the finals for the Central West Senior Hockey League. They'll be playing this weekend in Grand Falls, Windsor, and looking to advance to their hurler from there. And also congratulate, last time it was just before the Winter Games, and I want to extend a great congratulations to all the participants who competed in the Winter Games representing Deer Lake. Very proud of you all and keep up the great work. This meeting adjourned, and I make a motion to accept these minutes.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Langdon, seconded by Councillor Hancock. Call for question.
So I guess for number 1 and number 3, you'll come back with the recommendation like for the cost.
Yeah, for sure. And the cost, well, once again, are budgeted for both projects, but we understand the note that you made earlier about the budget, so we certainly will bring it back for approval and go from there.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any further questions, comments, concerns? Just one for myself. That's a great idea, the annex communication. You're planning on doing a town hall. Hats off, because there's a lot of people in town curious. Obviously, a building's closed in. It's starting to look like it's starting to come to fruition. We've had the pleasure of being able to do some tours inside the building. There's always discussion over complexes, whether you should have did this or did that, but I think this one's going to...
Sure, and I don't know, Mayor, if town hall is the right word. Maybe a kind of information session and some, brainstorming with residents, see how they feel, and or what type of programming they hope to see as we start, with some of the purchasing of equipment and stuff, and schedule allotments. So
Definitely. And again, that's back to conversations. You bring up more discussion, more input. I was speaking with the Mayor Torbay, and I said I had to call him on it. I forget the name of their facility. It's a regional facility. They actually started a Nerf war night, and Commons, yeah, and the uptake for that is probably higher than anything else, and
Right.
of all ages. So
That sounds fun.
you can see it, right? Any further questions, concerns, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. We're gonna need another, motion. Councillor Freak, if you wouldn't mind. Tender, or either, or Councillor Fitzgerald. It is Public Works, but you're both on Finance. I just figured to channel it through the chair.
Oh, Lord. All right, Councillor Jones, this one's for you. Town of Deer Lake has a tender summary report dated March the 7th. The tender name is the Light Truck Tender. We had the tender opening attendees were Town Manager Jason Young, Town Clerk Lori Humphreys, and David Thomas. Tender results: Dennis GM regular cab $51,921. Dennis GM extended cab $47,601. Hickman's regular cab $54,238. Hickman's extended cab was $54,659. All prices are HST extra. One additional bid received electronically after the tender closed. The recommendation is to buy the trucks from Dennis GM in Corner Brook.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by.
Could I just jump in here for a second for clarification, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was this a tender or a request for quotes? I just want clarification.
I think it went out as an RFP, was it not? Or
Yeah, we'll clarify that, but I'm pretty sure it went out for an RFP.
Okay,
request for
because
proposals.
there's a big
Yeah.
difference when it comes to tender. All right,
Definitely.
Thank you.
no, good eye. All right.
And this would be 3 extended cabs and 1 regular, to clarify for the units purchased.
Are you second, are you? You're not second, are you, Debbie?
I'll second it.
Yeah.
So-
And are you
so moved.
seconding 3 extended,
Yes.
1 regular?
So moved, yes.
Okay.
So with rough calculations, okay to ask a question?
Yes.
So with rough
Question, call for
calculations, you're
question.
probably looking at another 200,000 added to our budget? Or added to, I guess, our expense for vehicles. I'm just wondering again, where do we get our money where we never budgeted for? I understand we budget for 1 vehicle. I understand the process why we need more vehicles, but I guess like I said, it's around $200,000. We budget for 1. Just wondering where we're gonna get the extra money and what part it comes from. Please, thank you.
Just to clarify, it was 2 vehicles that were budgeted for. One was new,
Okay.
one was a used vehicle we were looking for our students.
Okay.
So upon review of some of the trucks in the fleet, it was determined that we would need multiple vehicles. And I believe at the time of budget, we were looking at purchasing outright. So at the time now, we'll actually look and explore our options for payments based upon the prices that you have in front of you.
So would have that come back to us on a recommendation of what we're gonna be, I guess, required to get a loan for?
Yes, we'll need a motion for the
We
loan.
need a motion for the,
Yep.
What we'll do, we'll have it at our next finance meeting. Hopefully, we'll have the finance amounts. And just to clarify, it was a tender that went out. Not
It was
an
a
RFP.
tender?
Was a tender,
Okay.
yeah.
And we'll do a budget update on our next finance meeting, that we sit and review the couple of expected expenses that you would have seen in the report tonight. We'll go back and ensure that we get those numbers properly put in there.
thank you.
All right, any further questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, before we conclude, call for an adjournment, go around table. Is there anything, I'm going to call this a council report instead of the mayor's report from here on in. Go, Councillor Hancock.
I know nothing for me. No, I was probably just going to indicate some of the stuff Brett already mentioned in the rec report, so it's perfectly fine. I'm good.
All right, thank you. Councillor Freak.
I would like to send my condolences to our folks next door at the City Hall in Corner Brook with the passing of their city mayor, Rodney Manager. Rodney was an incredible guy. We've seen him sit at the table with us multiple times. I think one of the last ones was the Air Canada venture and how important it was for us all to be working together. He was a great guy, so I'd love to send my condolences to his coworkers and his family and his children.
Thank you for that. Councillor Langdon.
Yeah, no, just to reiterate what Councillor Freak said. I met Mr. Cumby on numerous occasions. He was a great man, always forward thinking with forging relationships with us. So, condolences to him and his family there as well. And just in one of my sports too, I forgot the Xavier Junior High girls basketball team won the 6A provincial, or grade 6A provincial championship. So congratulations to them as well.
All right, thank you. Councillor Fitzgerald.
Nothing, Mayor.
Nothing. Councillor Jones.
Good luck with our senior Red Wings, if we can comment.
There you go. And it's nice to see a packed arena, definitely. You sit here and you listen to all the reports and all these good things and everybody's talking, and I can't help but wonder if Deer Lake, it was always a sporting town 365 days a year before, but I don't know if it's just the engagement around this table that people have with sports in our community, but I just got to say hats off to all the coaches and volunteers that make it happen, because you're leading people into a good direction, and of course the athletes and their success. One quick note, I'm not sure if council is aware, but myself, the manager and the town superintendent, or the public works superintendent, met an Xavier for a procurement project, or a art project through the school. They're applying through Arts NL, and they proposed us to come on basically an in-kind to help. But it's a really, really interesting project. It's like a book library, but it's an arts library. So you put a piece in, take a piece out, and they'd asked if the town would be willing to support locations and all the good stuff that comes with it. But I just got to put a shout out to the two young ladies that presented, Joelle Moss and Paige Anstey. When you're sitting there at their age 13 looking at people with titles or positions in a board of directors, it felt very much like the what's that show, Dragon's Den, and it was highly, highly impressive. So it's extremely enlightening to see that there's youth in our community that are taking the lead like that already, and eventually they'll be sitting around this table, so we're in good hands, and I just want to give them a shout out. So that's it for me at this time, 8:51. I'll call for a mover to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by